Hi.
Louise.
A
So
little bit
can
of technical difficulties.
not too bad. I have had times where it's been much worse. So can everybody see Louise and I okay? I wonder. Because I know right now I can just see up to my nose and that's it. Can you see my whole face?
Okay. I can see both of our faces.
Oh, good. Oh, Joy can. Okay, good. It's funny. I did this before and then I tilted my camera and then all the people could see was my chest. If you guys can see my face, then that's good. Um, so how are you, Louise?
I am excited and a little bit nervous, but more excited to be here.
Good. I'm so glad you decided to come on with me. Yeah. So I guess we can get started if you want. So we have a couple questions to ask Louise, and then if we tangent onto some different direction, sometimes that happens, and that's okay. um,
Yep, sounds
so
good.
yeah, okay. So the first question we have is, what does self-love mean to you? So um, it could be just in general of what you think to you what self-love means.
Okay, so for me, self-love means taking care of myself and making sure that my needs are met, whether they're basic or more, but really just honoring who I am and my thoughts and my feelings, and just who I want to be, what I want to do,
Yeah,
kind of a little bit of everything, just making sure that I'm okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, so, and I think that we may go into this later, but I think compared to maybe like, let's say 10 years ago to now, do you feel like you've grown a lot in that area? Like, do you think that things you did 10 years ago to things you do now are taking care of you better than maybe 10 years ago, right?
It is night and day. Like it's completely different. So I'm actually going to be 40 in a month or so. And thinking back to my 30th birthday, yeah, like I was starting to come into my own, but still so far from where I am now and where I needed to be.
Yeah, yeah. I wish, and I
Mhm.
think that's everybody. It seems like that's a lot of people's journey is those 30s is where you do find out who you are and like be okay with it, right?
Yeah.
But I wish we could do it sooner. I wish there was a way for us to reach out to younger people and be like, no, no, you need to do this now. But I guess it's all
I
part of our lives,
I
right?
agree. I agree completely. And that's one of the reasons why I love the community that you're building now, and why I'm excited to be a part of it is exactly because of that. Like,
Yeah,
I know that I'm here where I am, and that maybe I wouldn't be if I didn't have those other experiences.
yes,
However, if I could help someone, um, maybe realize a little bit sooner than they care to admit that
yeah.
maybe they're not making the best choices for themselves, or they're settling, then hopefully they can save some of that time
Yeah.
because it's so precious.
Absolutely. And I think it's like giving them permission to be courageous in being who they are, whatever that is, you know, and just being like owning your truth and owning who you are, I think is huge. And I think it takes us so long to figure that out, which I wish we could figure it out sooner, which I know, like you said, all of our challenges and everything makes up who we are. And that's how we become who we are. But yeah, it's, it should happen faster.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So our next question is, what do you already love about yourself? So when you think about yourself right now, exactly how you are, what do you already love?
I think that one of the things that I love most about myself is how hard I work. So I definitely am a biter offer of more than I can chew. And so far, that hasn't sunk me. Um, but I like to persevere. And I know that can kind of be a trauma response of if I stop, then I have to deal with stuff.
Right.
So I do tend to keep myself quite busy, but I also have really put a lot of focus on um, trying to fix some of my more broken pieces.
Right.
And so I think, yeah, I think my like perseverance and hard work I love about myself because it just makes me feel accomplished.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I feel like I'm that a little bit like that too. It's the whole, I know people will always, there's the whole stigma around, oh, you're so busy, you're so busy. It's like, well, if I didn't enjoy what I'm doing, then I wouldn't do it. And so part
Yeah.
of it is, you know, persevering and loving all the things you're doing, right?
Hmm.
But yes, I can see how maybe we're not able to sometimes sit with the hard stuff if we don't give ourselves a chance to be in that space, right? But
Yeah,
yeah. That's good.
exactly.
Um, so how do you currently love yourself? So describe your current self-care routine. Is there anything that you do daily that inspires self-love and makes you feel worthy, valuable, and important?
Okay, so there are quite a few things that I am trying to do. So I would say probably it was in October where I actually found a therapist. So I don't see her consistently, but I've probably seen her about a dozen times. So I think that was a really big step for me in trying to heal some of my past traumas.
Yeah.
And so that was a big piece of self-love because I knew that there were broken pieces that needed to be attended to. And so that was a pretty big step.
Yeah.
Another thing that I started doing was like in 2009 about I started running, and so that was one of my main activities, and it's kind of dropped off. I don't really do it very much. But I moved to Prince George about a year ago and I found a gym. And so I've been going to the gym for about a year, and actually since January I started powerlifting.
Yeah.
And that is something that is phenomenal how much it's given me because it really gives me an appreciation for my body, which I've not always been a fan of.
Yeah.
Um, but now, like when I go to the gym and I lift heavy weights and I'm doing, things that are incredible to me, I really have found a sense of appreciation for what my body can do, regardless of, my rolls and my wobbly arms and stuff.
Yeah.
So like just feeling physically strong and mentally strong has been like has blown up my self-love because I feel like I'm worth it now.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so doing things like that, like I also have like my mom usually buys me a daily calendar every year, and so this year she bought me a Don't Sweat the Small Stuff,
Oh,
which some days the messages are so on point, it's unbelievable.
yeah.
So doing things like that. Now, in going to the gym, like and wanting to be stronger, I also want to be healthier. So I
Yes.
found a nutritionist that I'm working with in Prince George, and have been. I did a 12-week program with her, and through her, I learned daily affirmations. So it's something like I actually recorded, and so I don't do it every day. Like this
Yeah.
is like
We're
some
human.
days yeah, some days I don't care and I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for the most part, I really try. And so I have daily affirmations that I listen to, a daily promise to myself, and three visualizations. And so like just as an example, one of my affirmations is I am strong and I can do any I no, I am amazing and I can do anything I set my mind to.
Yeah.
And so on the days that I listen to that, it really sets my mind for the day of exactly what I want to do and how I want my day to go. And
Yeah.
not always does it happen that way, but it's a good start.
Yeah. That's awesome. No, I think
Hmm.
that's huge. And I think a person, like, yeah, if you become even a little bit consistent in the whole affirmations thing or the visualizations or things you're talking about, when you stop doing them, you can start to tell a difference of when you're doing them and when you're not, just where you're headed, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's cool. So tell me about your visualizations. What do those look like?
There's three visualizations that I do, and they all start with I am happy and grateful. So
Okay.
I am happy, like I am happy and grateful. I'll just read one of them for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have them right beside me here. I am happy and grateful that my perseverance and determination has paid off. I can do anything I set my mind to.
Okay. So they're almost like longer affirmations, hey, like more developed.
Yes, more developed and more like I'm speaking them into existence as
Yeah, that's
opposed
cool.
to yeah, as opposed to more the affirmation.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's cool. I always love
Hmm.
thinking about everybody's different ways to do things because there's so many different ways. And like I find find myself getting stuck into maybe like this is the only way I can do it. um, where I think it'd be fun to start to like branch out and try all these different things that people have success with, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely. And yeah, one thing that I really found about that I like about the affirmations is, like I said, I recorded them. And so when I started them, they were primarily based on nutrition. So building a really, basically trying to build a healthy relationship with food. And so they were very much nutrition and food based.
hmm
But then I thought, well, this is good and I like it, but I would like to add different things into it. So like, relationship with my partner or, my stepsons or friendship. And
yeah,
so just things that I want to be conscious of and that I
yeah,
want to improve on.
yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
Hmm.
Cool. Okay. So, this one is kind of directed at, so it's what do you need to be more at peace with yourself? So, is there anything tugging on your heart that you know that you need to do more of to be at peace? Maybe is telling someone the truth, setting boundaries, taking an honest look at your current self-care practices. So, is there anything you could do today to act on that and live from a place of love instead of fear? So, it's kind of a big question, but it's just kind of like, are there areas that you notice in your life, which we all experience, of like, okay, I'm good with all this stuff, but this is a place that I feel like I still need work, right? Um, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that for me to really take it to the next level, would be to actually let go of the past. I'm such a like an overthinker and a dweller, and
Yeah.
obviously not on good things because because that would be too easy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think I just really need to make peace with certain aspects of my past that weren't the greatest.
Right.
So like in watching your interview last week with Joy, some of what Joy shared really resonated with me. Like she spoke about her first marriage and how it wasn't the greatest, and
Yeah.
I have the same experience,
Okay.
unfortunately. So yeah, that's a huge part of my life still, even though we haven't been together for 7 years and we've moved on and haven't spoken.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so it's things like that that I need to work on and just be more forgiving, I think, of and more gracious with myself.
hmm
Because like I find that I ruminate on, situations maybe that didn't go exactly the way I wanted them to go. And I really kind of beat myself up.
Yeah.
Um, just because things yeah, just because I didn't handle myself maybe the best or didn't respond the best or so that is really tough for me in
Yeah.
self-love.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Forgiveness is huge. And like I find even forgiveness, a lot of it, majority of forgiveness is the ability to be able to forgive ourselves, right? For things
Mhm.
we did, and like um knowing that we're human, that's part of our humanness, that we make mistakes, and that we have to accept ourselves and forgive ourselves for those things, because that's where we find that love for ourselves, right? Which is hard. I work on that too, for sure. um
Mhm.
but yeah, it's definitely, that's a big one. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have when you're thinking of that, do you have any ideas on how, which I guess working your affirmations and stuff into that maybe would be a solution? And, I choose to forgive myself, or I choose to forgive others, or those kind of things. But do you have any kind of ideas that pop into your head of ways that you could start to like heal from those kind of things? Or have
Yeah, no, yeah, no, haven't really thought of it that way, but I like the affirmation idea because, yeah, it's just something again that I can affirm in my own mind of this is what I want. This is what I want my life
yeah,
to be.
yeah,
Yeah, and just kind of try to work through it because, like, I was talking to a friend who is going through a divorce as well right now, and she said, even if I had the answers to the questions that I'm asking myself, would it change the way I feel?
yeah,
And I
yeah,
said, wow, because of course, no answer will change your feelings because your
yes,
feelings are what they
yes,
are.
and they're valid. Yeah,
So yeah, exactly. So I think like what we talked about a little bit earlier of just being able to sit with that discomfort and really work through it instead
yes,
of
yeah.
just kind of putting it in a little box and like, oh, I'll deal with this later because I'm really busy right now.
Yes, yeah, it's like a little coping mechanism that we have. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah, I like that. Um, so, our one of our last questions is, what do you value about yourself? So thinking of yourself, what qualities or attributes do you have that you admire about yourself? So, um, yeah. So what things does Louise have?
I think some of the qualities that I admire about myself, I think I admire and they kind of annoy me at the same time. So I'm very emotional and I sometimes can't control it or hide it.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why I want to hide it, but that's, I guess, something else. So yeah, I really like my emotional side because I think it shows vulnerability, which
Oh, absolutely.
I've had trouble with for a while in my 30s where I didn't emote at all, like one way
Yeah.
or the other. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where I knew I was not in a good place.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that I am very caring. One thing that I would like to work past is I can be very wallflowerish or standoffish. And it comes from a place of not wanting to be judged, and not wanting to say something that would upset or offend someone.
Hmm.
Um, and so, yeah, I'd like to move past that and try to be more authentic with people. And so, yeah, just really showing people who I am as opposed to just letting them think what they want, I guess, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of being your authentic self.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'd like to embrace that a little bit more because I am a very caring, very nurturing person,
Yeah.
and I value the people that I have in my life
Yes.
immensely. And so just to share that with everyone is something that I would like to also work on.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So our last question is, what advice you would give to either people watching, or maybe people like younger versions of us, on things that they could do now, or if people are struggling with self-love or body image or any of that stuff, of what we could tell them, some advice for the growth you have done for yourself.
I think we touched on it a little bit earlier too, of just yeah, I think self-love is so important. And I think as women, we tend to be nurturers and put ourselves last.
Yeah.
Um, and you can't, and it's kind of cliche, but you can't fill anyone's cup from your empty cup.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that.
So one thing for me was that an advice that I would give my younger self is don't ignore your intuition.
Yes.
I knew for a very long time that I was in a relationship that was not fulfilling for either of us, and that probably wasn't going to succeed. But I stayed in it a lot longer than I think I should have because I was comfortable,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable in a non-growing relationship.
Yeah.
And once I actually made the decision of no, you deserve better for yourself, that's when it really started to change for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, it was a little bit longer than I should have waited. So yeah, that's something that I would tell myself. I would also say that if you can't love yourself, you can't love anyone else.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you can't love yourself, um, yeah, you're just carrying that into any relationship that you're going to have.
Yeah.
And really, how fair is that to anyone else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. And that's one thing that I've been saying too is that, and until you've kind of had that self-growth piece where you have been able to say that you can love your body and yourself as you are, um, when that switch kind of flicks, it's kind of like you didn't realize that you weren't truly loving people because you weren't loving yourself. Like the amount of love that you can show once you have accepted who you
Mhm.
are, it's such a big change. Like, um, yeah, because I know me, I share that same experience of that. Um, I love people way better than I did, like even 5 years ago. It's crazy. So
Mhm. Yeah,
I love that that's your message because
yeah,
I think,
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah. And then like just to speak to body image, like I never had a good body image. And I think you shared as well, like you always felt like the biggest person growing
yeah,
up. And that's
yeah,
how I felt too. Like I was easily a foot taller than my peers and
yeah,
always felt, pudgy and not pretty.
yeah,
And then I think it was probably 2-ish years ago. I was going to Mexico on a beach vacation, and I bought a two-piece. And I thought, you know what? I don't care because no, I'm not going to know a single soul on this beach besides the people who love me, and it doesn't matter. And so I wore that two-piece, and I have not worn a one-piece since, regardless of where I am.
I love it.
Yeah, and what I would tell my younger self is no one cares. No one's watching. No one's looking at you.
Well, and if they do, who cares? Look away.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, I found a website that has beautiful two-piece bathing suits that
yeah,
are bigger sizes and really, I'm just really embracing my body. And it doesn't mean that I love every part of my body because
yeah,
I call them my chicken wings, like my flabby underarms. Um,
yeah,
but when I flex, my bicep is starting to look really defined and
yeah,
strong. And so,
yeah,
so try to focus on the parts of my body that I really like.
yes,
Um,
absolutely.
and less on the parts that maybe could be more toned or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah, but just really trying to embrace who I am and this wonderful body that takes all the abuse I give it and hasn't quit yet, knock on wood.
You know, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's totally it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been so inspired watching all of your powerlifting stuff. It's been so
Yeah.
cool. That's something I haven't tried, but um, like I do hear you in the respect to like finding whatever it is, like it doesn't have to be running or like working out 500 hours a day, like just finding that one thing that makes you feel strong and powerful and like, like I found that in my yoga practice, feeling strong doing that, but like
Mhm.
I think everybody has to find that avenue that works for them of like this is what makes me feel good about myself and strong and healthy and all those things, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly. And yeah, no, I'm really trying to do a holistic approach. So my mental health should be just as important as my physical health
yeah,
and just as important as my nutrition.
yeah,
And just really trying to take every single piece of my life and make it as good as I possibly can.
yeah,
And in hopes to like kind of make it a domino effect, I guess.
yeah, absolutely, yes. And I think it's it's interesting. Like, I still don't know if we're there yet in regards to society um, accepting that mental health is just as important as the physical health, like,
Hmm.
and that it needs to be tended to just as much as physical health, maybe sometimes more, right?
Yeah,
I think we're getting there. Like, I think even think about 20 years ago to now, I think we're making huge steps in the awareness of mental health. But because
yeah,
yeah, if you don't have a happy inside, it's not gonna reflect out, right? So
exactly. Yeah, and just exactly like you say, normalizing the conversation. Like
yeah,
I live in a house with boys and teenage boys. And
yes,
so really trying to hammer into them, like feelings aren't wrong. Tell me how you feel, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Yeah, and just
exactly.
trying to make it a normal part of conversation.
Yeah, yeah, and it should be totally. I agree.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, awesome. Well, I don't know if there's anyone watching left. We did have people pop in and out, I see. But if anyone has any questions for Louise, even if you type them in after the replay, we can answer them after. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So, did you have anything else you can think of that you'd like to share with us, Louise?
Um, no, I don't think so. Just a thank you to you for being so wonderful, for creating this community. One thing that I really try to do is surround myself with people who are, strong or who have something that I can learn from,
Yeah.
something that I can share with. Yeah, and just having this community, I think, is really important, especially for women.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm loving it. It
Yeah.
makes my soul happy to talk to people and like hear their stories and like just reaffirming that we all should love ourselves. It's all a work in progress and it's okay, right? Um,
Hmm.
yeah, but I love it. And I'm glad
Yeah.
everybody's there. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on with me. It was so good to see you.
Yes, you
Um,
too. Thank you
and
for having me.
what's that?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yes, yes, anytime. So, I don't have anyone lined up for next week, so just shouting out there that people should message me if you want to come chat with me. It can be any day, like I'm usually pretty flexible. So, um, that is all we had for you guys, and we will see you guys next time. So, thanks for coming, Louise. I'm so glad that you popped on with me.
Yeah, okay. Bye.
Okay, bye, guys.